And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Happy May the Force be with you day, man. It is Star Wars Day. What is going on, fellas? We got the 3 minute in the movies right here for another. Well, this is a special live stream. We usually live every other Wednesday, but here we are Monday night. You guys really wanted to do this, big Star Wars fan. So I can't wait for you guys to show off everything you have Star Wars. You see, both of these guys got their t-shirts on, they're ready to go. They got flags, they got posters, they got everything. So thank you guys for joining us tonight on this special occasion. May the force be with you. What is up, fellas?
Hey,
What's going on?
it's a good way to kick off the week.
Yeah, great way.
Yes,
I had to use the force today at work to make everybody leave me alone and stop giving me headaches. I was like, I need everybody to go home, and we're going to. How does he do it? Jesse or Obi-Wan put his hand up and said,
Oh yeah,
"I need you all to move to the left or something." Like I want everybody to move out to the out the door and go home. That's what I did today. That's how I got off of work early.
Oh, we got one comment coming in. This guy, Michael Singletary. He says, I stood in line with my mother to see the original Star Wars. Too many sequels, prequels, canon, non-canon, spin-offs. Too much too soon. How can you miss me if you never leave?
oh man, he ain't saying nothing but a word. I
Yep.
absolutely agree with that sentiment. Yes, we're definitely going to talk about this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely, because that's one thing that you know timing is everything, right? And one thing that stood out to me, even though it's only a year, one thing that I did notice when George Lucas was at the helm of things, he at least gave it 3 years. Of course, there was a big drought between the time that the original came out, then the prequels came out. But when each movie came out, there was always 3 years within its time for him. Once Disney got in control of things, it dropped down to 2 years. And then we got all these extra movies, spin-offs and stuff put in. Then we got streaming series. So, like Michael Singletary just said, it was way too much all at once. We've
Exactly.
seen them do it with not only Star Wars, but they do it with Marvel. So it's just Disney thing. Like they're all about the money. If it's a big franchise, they know that people are going to go see. People are going to sit down and watch at home. They are going to go all in until everybody gets tired of it.
It got worse with Disney Plus because it's like when everybody came out with their streaming platform, the name of the game was fill it up with as much content as possible. We don't care if it's good or not. Fill it up, fill it up, fill it up.
Yeah, and a lot of times with that, they put out too much too soon, and it's like Disney got this gift that was given to them. Well, I won't say given to them because they paid a lot for it, but they got this gift, and they didn't really know what direction to go with it, and by doing that, it's safe to say that they probably pissed off a lot of fans. It's nice to see certain characters in there, but they went from like you said to the movies to now they got TV series, they got animation. And some of it's actually pretty good. I have not checked out the new Darth Maul show. I'm going to probably sit down and take a good look at it. I meant to recently because I know it just came out. But I mean, if they can turn things around because like I've been hearing lately right now, they may even go away with some other stories right now and try to redo everything. And by doing that, I'm telling you, it's going to make a lot of people genuinely upset with the series because that's not fair to your fans. Respect your fans. We're fans.
Right.
Respect your
And
fans.
I think that's the biggest problem with Disney running Lucasfilm. Let's be honest. Kathleen Kennedy. How many times did I hear dump Kennedy, fire Kennedy, blah 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 blah? As much as it's easy just to point it at one person, the buck
Can't.
does, it just doesn't stop with her because
Yeah.
guess what? We're the consumers. We feed into it as well.
Yep.
Whether it's good or bad, we still show up in some form. I'll be honest though, I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to Disney owned Star Wars. However, I'm not as excited for when they drop something new because once upon a time these were event releases. The
Yeah.
movie were event releases, even the shows and stuff. It was a big deal. Hell, even the physical media. You remember when Star Wars finally came out on DVD in 2004? I mean, cats lost their mind. I lost my mind. I mean, we were excited to finally have these films on DVD, even though they were not the versions of the films that we grew up on, with all the changes that George Lucas made over the years. But still, we appreciated it.
Just to have it.
Just to have it, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. He says Disney is doing too many streaming on Disney Plus to keep up with. Yeah, they're oversaturating the market.
Yes.
And he says here Disney Plus just released Star Wars Darth Maul's 6 voice actors at Fan Expo Denver. So yeah, they're trying to keep up with the Jones, but they're also disappointing fans too.
It's a lot.
Absolutely. Because I know, for me, it took a long time for me to finally really sit down and watch Star Wars. I always knew about the fandom. Growing up, little kid, TBS Superstation was big for me. I was always on that channel. I knew Star Wars would come on that a lot. But I never really sat down and watched it. I really did not sit down to dissect the original trilogy until probably about 2015, 2016. The prequels really kind of pulled me in. That was my first stint of really watching them. Once I saw Darth Maul, that double-edged lightsaber, it looked so cool to me. So that's what pulled me into finally wanting to kind of really watch Star Wars. Those first two of the prequels, they were all right to me. They were cool. I think Revenge of the Sith was the best one out of those three, personally.
Very, very good. Very, very true. Very true.
But even then, even just watching those three, they didn't pull me in enough to say, okay, now I'm going to sit down and watch the originals. So it still took me some time because those three just didn't pull me in quite like that. I don't know what it is. One thing that I did realize is that the main two that I really liked, George Lucas was a producer, but he wasn't the director. And those two movies are pretty much the best two out of the entire thing that most people really talk about. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a George Lucas thing and that he's not as great as people try to portray him as with this trilogy. But it's a little telling that, the stuff where he was the producer and the director aren't the best films.
Night and day difference.
Spicy take.
Yep, night and day difference.
But I actually agree with a lot of that too, though. Yes.
Yeah. If he steps back, if he steps back, like you said, and just produces, it's legit because they'll get a really good director to put the film out and really, really make it work. For example, like this one here, this wasn't directed by him. Empire was produced by him. It's his story, but Irvin Kershner directed this film. This is considered in some circles, if not every circle, the best Star Wars film ever made. This one right here, Empire Strikes Back. I mean, 4K. You got the DVD. I've had it on every format. I even got the VHS tapes, which I wish I had brought. But this is considered in some circles, and even on online, as far as the greatest films of all time. This one right here. This one even outperforms A New Hope when it comes to storytelling. The editing, the tightness of the film, the structure of the story. I mean, imagine if there was no more Star Wars ever, and it was just the original three trilogies from 4, 5, and 6. Would have been good.
I'd have been okay with it.
Yeah, it would have been fine. But they had to, money. We got to put some out. We got to feed into the fans. But if they had just went with this, or hell, even stopped their Jedi, we still be talking about these movies like as we are today. So, my take on it, I think, like you said, he's better at producing than directing. He did put together a lot for these films to carry the story on. I mean, we're talking. This series now is almost what 50 years old.
50 years old next year.
Yeah.
And for Star Wars next year.
Imagine what that's going to be like at the theater next year. They're going to gear that up. Because even with the re-releases of some of the recent films, they actually perform really well at the box office.
But A New Hope is actually getting a IMAX release next year.
Oh.
And the thing about this, it's the original release. There's no digitally inserted Jabba the Hutt. Han shoots first. And on all these other editions, and you know how I feel about the special editions. Even though I have fond memories of the special edition because.
So wait, he didn't shoot in this one.
You know, I try not to think about it too much, man. You know, and that's the thing. You know, Lucas. I mean, it's his creation. Oh, at that time, you can do whatever you want with your content, and I appreciate that. Even though I may not like the decisions, in the end, if that's what he wanted, that's what he wanted. But obviously, a lot of fan outcry about a lot of those changes. You know, people just at that point, you know, they either, you know, rock with it or they just didn't rock with it, you know. But you can definitely tell with each subsequent release that some of those changes were walked back, such as like the infamous screaming Luke when he drops in The Empire Strikes Back in the 1997 special edition. That was not present in the 2004 release, you know. So maybe he does listen to, you know, at that time he listened to some of those, you know, complaints and feedbacks for the fans.
So 50 years next year, I assume that this is correct right here. We'll definitely be seeing something getting released.
We're getting a box set, and it's going to sell out, and they're going to hike the price for it. Get your pre-orders ready.
I am wondering if we'll get a full run like they did with Marvel. Go see all the movies back to back to back, all in one day, where they do something special like that. I can see that coming.
That'd be dope. I mean, you can actually finally see those films in theaters. Now, here's an urban legend. Other than the Han shot first, there's like this, what they call the Mandela effect about the scene in Empire Strikes Back when Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father. What did he say? Does anyone remember how he said it?
No, I am your father, or something like that. He doesn't say Luke.
Luke, I am.
Everybody thinks. Go online and read about this. Everyone thinks he said, Luke, I am your father, versus no, I'm your father.
Right.
There's an actual, and people have legitimately said, I know, I sat in a theater and heard him say that back in, 1980. I heard him say that. So I'm like, damn, for a while, I was even tricked, like, oh, maybe he did say that. And then when I watched, I said, no, he didn't say that.
I'll be honest, I'm not the greatest with movie quotes. That is one I do remember. So when people, were saying, Luke, I'm your father, I'm like, that's not how he said it,
But people say it all the time.
They say it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like Houston, we have a problem. That's not what they said.
Right.
Over time things change. I like seeing stuff like that. I see it on social media a lot, the whole Mandela effect and everything. I think a big one I just saw the other day was about people saying there was a part 2 to Batteries Not Included, and people was like, no, that never happened. I don't know what y'all talking about. There was never a sequel.
The biggest one is this damn Sinbad genie movie.
Yes, they said he plays Shazam. Or Kazam, excuse me.
What movie are you talking about?
Yeah. Have you heard about this, Derek?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there ever a Kazam movie? Because I'm convinced that it was.
It's like everybody is being gaslit into believing Sinbad starred in Kazam. Like, where were you? Where was I? Where were we?
Well, supposedly it was in the 90s. There's even a poster made for it.
Yes.
He's wearing like an Aladdin purple genie costume. So maybe it did happen. I want to see it. Let's go find it.
No, I refuse to believe it. No.
It happened.
You said it happened?
Mandela effect. Shazam. Yeah.
I don't care what nobody said. You are not going to convince me that move. No.
Yeah, man, it's crazy with that one. That's I don't know. Luke, I'm your father, I guess. I don't know.
So what's you guys' favorite out of the entire franchise? Which movie?
Oh, absolutely, The Empire Strikes Back. That was not the first Star Wars movie I saw. The first one I ever saw, and when I say saw, that means I wasn't necessarily watching it, but it was Return of the Jedi.
Same here.
We were living in Ohio at the time. I just come back from Germany, and I was like 5 years old, and I came home from school one day. and I saw this big brown box on top of the TV. It's a big ass cable box. This is Toledo, Ohio, in 1988, and my grandmother, she had all the movie channels, Movie Channel, HBO, all that, and my mom, she got a VCR and went to town. And I came home from school one day and she was recording Return of the Jedi. And obviously, I think she was recording it for maybe me and my siblings, because I know my mom was not a Star Wars fan at all. But I remember watching that for the first time. And then, of course, taking it back to video store culture at that time, I saw the cover for The Empire Strikes Back, and it was just something about that cover. It's the poster work art right next to Jason that just caught my attention. And my mom, she rented it for me, had 2 VCRs, she made a dub, came home from school, and I watched it. And even though I did not understand all the nuances going on at that time, I think I was like 7 or 8 when I first watched it, I just thought it was like the greatest thing ever. Especially the Hoth battle scene, and they're in the snow, speeders, and you have the, when they're tripping the walkers. I thought that was like the best thing I had ever seen.
Yeah. For me, my first time coming across Star Wars, like you said, was Return to Jedi. And we were living on Fort Bragg at the time, back in the 80s. We went to a neighbor's house in the daytime down the street. It was a couple houses down. And I happened to walk in on the scene in Return of Jedi when they were using the bikes and they were speeding through the forest. And our friend, he had speakers in there. He had 2-channel speakers set up, and he had it up so loud you could hear it outside. And he was playing it off of at the time HBO. And I walked in, I'm sitting down, and I'm catching towards the middle of the end of that sequence, and hearing the sound effects for the first time, seeing how the scene was portrayed on the TV, and I was like, wow! I was actually just jumping in my seat. I was only every bit of at the time probably about I was 6 years old, and I saw it, and I remembered that, and I was like, what is this called? I asked the guy. He said, son, this is Return of the Jedi. It's Star Wars. And, I wasn't familiar with it at the time. It's my first time experiencing it. Fast forward to, I want to say 94, 95, and they released the originals on VHS, and they were showcasing them on TV. We bought it from a store. You guys may not remember. It was located here in Fayetteville towards the Brad Boulevard area, called Service Merchandise.
Yes.
We bought the trilogy set on tape, and which my parents still own, and I sit down and watched all of them in order, and I finally got the gist of the story, because that was my actual first time seeing everything together, because they were promoting it so strong on TV, and I was like, what is this, Star Wars? So we ended up getting it, and popped in there, watched it, and it was like a one-time watch for me. I didn't go back to see it again for quite some time, and then here's another funny story. Well, it's not really funny, but this is more interesting. I'll try to make this quick. I got hired at the theater initially for episode 1 at Carmike 12, and I was working there. Some of our friends, co-workers, Fred and them, and we had a guy in Raleigh at the time back in 1999. He quit his $25 an hour job back in 1999. He drove all the way from Raleigh in an RV, parking in the back of the parking lot in the building, waited 2 weeks to get the first ticket. And he sat right by the door. He had a beach chair, and he would rotate with his wife. If some of y'all remember going to the movies around the month of, like, let's say, I think it was March, April, May, around April, May, you may not remember, there was a guy sitting right by the door with a beach chair.
I definitely remember the RV.
Yeah, he was there for episode 1. He wanted to be the first person to purchase a ticket. The news came down from Raleigh to interview him, and they asked him, like, what are you here for? What's going on? He said, well, I'm here for Star Wars Episode 1. I brought my family. I quit my job to get the first ticket, and I want to come watch this film. And he said, the only reason why I'm here, he said, because the theaters in Raleigh don't have THX. And I want to watch the film in THX sound, and I want the best sound and picture that could produce this film, and I want to see and hear it with my family, when it comes out. Okay, so theater's packed. It's been packed for weeks because we're still selling out for the Matrix. Matrix has already been out almost 2 months. We were still selling out every day. And when episode one opened that weekend or that day, excuse me, it was on a Wednesday, I believe. Because they had a Tuesday midnight show. He got the ticket for the he didn't watch it on Tuesday. He watched it on Wednesday. He saw it in the daytime because he let everybody come in and watch, and he came in and got it. So he watched it on Wednesday because I came to work. Apparently, the guy got so mad at the movie, and you'll never guess in a million years why. And I'm gonna tell you why. He got mad because he didn't like the character Jar Jar Binks, and he said, "I want my money back today." And guess what we told him? No. We said, nah, no money back, sir. But here's a free ticket to come back to watch The Matrix.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, that's my experiences with Star Wars Episode 1. The theater was packed, man. We were busy just for really the first week.
I'll tell you, I think for episode 1, the first time I think the trailer debuted on TV, Entertainment Tonight or something like that. But
I saw it on The Siege.
the first time I saw the trailer for episode 1 of all the movies, because you told me to come to watch American History X at like an early show. I'm thinking, what is the correlation between this movie about like skinhead redemption and Star Wars? Because trailers, you put them on movies, you try to
weave them in there based on genre.
I guess so. And that was the first time I saw the episode 1 trailer on the big screen, and I remember it was in one of the Dolby THX certified houses, and it sounded great. I didn't see episode 1 opening night or even opening week back in 1999. I watched it maybe about 2 weeks later, I think on graduation night. And fortunately, it was in auditorium number 1, which was the DTS THX certified house. And that auditorium back then, because at that point, that auditorium was about 3 years old, still sounded great.
Now, if you can remember, with that, when we were working at the theater, remember, George Lucas has sent out a letter saying no people that work at the theater can watch the film for free for almost like eight weeks. Yeah, we couldn't watch the film for free for 8 weeks. Well, George, we don't do that here in Fayetteville. we watched it that night or that weekend. We were so busy. I didn't have any. I saw it that Wednesday because I did work that Wednesday, but I ended up watching it later on. I ended up going. I didn't even see it in my own theater. I ended up going down to Windsong, and I watched it in theater number 2, which is a big giant DTS house, and the movie just sounded amazing in there. The pod race scene was quaking in the theater. I like what I saw when I first saw the first film. I was just laughing at the guy who wanted his ticket back from Jar Jar Binks, but we did get a lot of complaints about Jar Jar Binks. But hey, if you want, don't complain to me. Complain to Lucasfilm. It's I ain't got $100 million like he does. The film that movie. But we were able to work for episode 2, and we were able to work for episode 3. And all 3 of those were sellouts, and people were coming in droves to see, especially the last one. Because we thought that was it. That was the end all be all for Star Wars. It was like no more. But once Revenge of the Sith laid it down and did as good as it did, and it was a great film, had a $50 million opening, and I think that was in the first day. Yeah, that Wednesday it made $50 million.
That was a crazy weekend, man. Because I remember, still working at the movies too at Windsong, because at the time that's where I was working at, and that was the same weekend. You had Madagascar.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 and The Longest Yard.
Longest Yard, yeah, packed. The theaters were slammed. They put those 3 films in the biggest auditoriums, and nobody could keep up with it. It was just so many people coming in droves to watch all the new films. That weekend, believe it or not, was not a record holder. It was a record holder just for Star Wars. But you would have thought, if you look at the grosses, that just that weekend alone, it was over $100 million spent just in the United States alone. Over $100 million going to the movies, and here's something you don't see. Guess what? These theaters had lines. You don't see lines anymore.
Not too often, no.
No.
Most people buy tickets online now.
Yes, and which I like because get in, get out. Won't wait in line all day. Go to the kiosk, go to the counter, get your ticket, and move on. But back then, you had to fight to get that little piece of paper,
Yeah.
that little ticket, and it's like, I gotta get there first, man. And some people were camping out, and that's when you had midnight shows, and guess what? They were all sold out, every single one of them. I miss that.
So I'm definitely looking for that picture that you was talking about, because with the guy in the RV, because I know I've seen a picture. I like do the archives from Fayetteville to see some of the
Yeah.
old photos and stuff. So I do believe there is a photo of him sitting outside
Oh my gosh.
of the theater.
Wow, that'd be dope to see that, man, because he was very excited. And the crazy thing about that guy, the news interviewed him again after the film came out, because, mind you, I told you he quit his job. He ended up getting another job because somebody saw him on TV and they rehired him, because he was like a computer programmer. He did something with computers and was making a hell of a lot of money back then. And his story got famous. Well, that's before social media, and it went viral. So a lot of folks saw that his story on the news, and he got picked up with a job like that. Yeah. Have any of y'all? Is there a Star Wars film you've not seen in theaters?
I've seen them all. Like I said, 1997. I saw the original trilogy.
Same here.
Special edition formats. We have played, like, here in the Denver area. There was a theater that would play them every so often. And of course, they would play the special edition versions. They were not the original versions of the film.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars right there. That's New Hope.
Yeah.
Wow, the drive-in right downtown.
Drive-in, yeah.
Dang. I've been to that theater. I know that's a good story right there too. I've been to that theater or that location.
Yeah, I know they've definitely got that photo. They may have more. Let me keep checking. But the only ones I haven't seen is the original trilogy.
So Justin had pulled something up. He had sent me, I think last year, Windsong at the time, Bordeaux, I think that's what it was called. They played a 70 millimeter a print of Empire.
There were one or two theaters in North Carolina, Fayetteville and Raleigh, who have played the film in 70 millimeter.
Yep.
And last year, you and I, so I'm gonna shout out Spring Lane Cinemas in Sanford, North Carolina, Jared Campbell. Yes, Jason and I were able to see The Empire Strikes Back in 70 millimeter. Fast 70 millimeter 6-track Dolby Stereo A-type. Yes,
there you go.
That's the photo that I sent Jason last year. I thought that was Steve, but that's how I knew it was a 70 millimeter. If you look at the because it doesn't look like the traditional cans that the prints come in. 70 millimeter prints are about that size, so that's how I knew that was a 70 millimeter release. Plus, I think n70millimeter.com also does.
Yeah, they mentioned locations.
One of those locations that did receive a 70 millimeter print.
Look at that, the opening day, May 21st, 1980. And that's coming up. May 21st. I'm gonna watch Empire that day. How about that? Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Dang. Hold on.
I hear you.
I hear you. I hear y'all too. No?
Still can't hear you.
How about now?
I do.
I'm going to leave and then come back in.
Okay. Yeah, man, you found some good archival photos, man. He was showing me that, and I was like, dang. So Fayetteville was trying to put the best out they could for that film. I wonder. I would like to have gone back in time, just sat in the theater when it was like that. Super crowded, seeing how the audience was reacting to the film. And the funny thing about Empire was not really. It was received well, but initially not so much, because people didn't like the downbeat ending to the story. So they thought, oh man, this is like, I've waited all this time to see the continuation, and happen to find out all this is going on. It was depressing to folks. So it took a long time for that film to actually gain any kind of great attraction and attention. How's your audio, Justin? You good?
Good now. I can hear you.
Okay, where? Derek, we still good?
Yep, still good.
Okay. Your video's freezing up a little bit, but we can still hear you, Derek.
Okay.
We can still hear you. Let me see okay, so one thing I will mention, my favorite Star Wars film, other than Empire, I really like Rogue One. Man, they did a good job of that film.
Probably the best Disney Star Wars film.
Yes. If they continue to make them like that, oh man, that's lightning in a bottle there, because a lot of folks love that film. That film made over $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? So that goes to show something, and that right there, that film was great. And it was a good middle story, because that could have messed with fans too. Like, why you want to throw in a middle movie on top of a middle film to show a continuation of already a great story? But no, the good writers and a good team of folks. I believe, what's the guy, Johnson? He directed it. Ryan Johnson?
No, that was
no, Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards.
Yeah,
Gareth Edwards. Yes.
Yeah. Ryan Johnson directed. Yep, there you go. And that film's not too bad either. But Rogue One, wow, perfect.
So
that's my second one.
I'm not just gonna start bashing the sequel trilogy. I will just flat out say that no, I'm not a fan of the sequel trilogy. But I'm not just gonna crap all over it either. I was hyped, for the release of The Force Awakens back in 2015. I watched it opening week. So definitely was caught up in the hype of that release. Oh, well, where's that at?
That's Carmite. That's that carpet.
People waiting in line. Yep. So
there you go, Derek. You got it. Look, they're the Carmite. They're the Carmite bag, the Coca-Cola bag.
Oh yeah. It looked like she's reading Shadows of the Empire, which is like that. So it's crazy because we always talk about how Star Wars, specifically with the atmosphere surrounding the release of the movies, but Star Wars merchandise itself, oh man, crazy.
Yeah, he had a cash cow once he popped in the merchandise. Everything. Hey, we still there. There's no more video.
There's no more video.
Yep. What the heck is going on? All right, this is getting weird.
It really is. I know.
Oh, there we go.
I think it's like the switch photos.
Here you go, Justin. There we go.
Yep. Audio on my site went out again.
Oh man,
okay,
I'm gonna use the force
from StreamYard. Then
look. I'm gonna use the force in my fingers here to try to get his audio back. Let me see if I can do it.
But yeah, man. As much as I like to downplay and not like going to the theater now with a bunch of people in the theater, I think if movies like this come back,
it'll bring them back.
I was to go see it. I would not mind. Just like I didn't mind with when they re-released Interstellar, I did not mind it being full. But movies that's coming out now, I'd rather not go see them in a packed theater. But I think if it was something old that I missed out on, like the original trilogy, I'd be totally fine with it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely go. Because we don't know when they're going to show these again. It's almost like to the point they try to do them yearly, but it's like time's catching up so fast with these films. They're being this old, that old, and trying to go back and see it again. I definitely would go back and revisit it, man. Like, it's even if did you see any of the current films in theaters when they came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Saw all of them.
Saw all of them. We Rogue One. I was telling Rogue One. I saw that in IMAX. It was phenomenal. That just I felt so good about watching that in the theater today. It came, and I think I saw it in IMAX 3D.
Yes.
That's the print I saw. I saw it in IMAX 3D, and the 3D was legit. I actually have that on Blu-ray in 3D. The Steelbook. Oh man, very very high end, very sought after. Very awesome presentation. Rogue One is my second favorite. It's almost my first favorite, but can't really compete to that. But it is definitely a great film. Now I'm gonna ask you guys this, because of all the Star Wars films, and I'm so embarrassed to say, I have not actually finished this film. Who has watched Solo?
I saw Solo.
I saw it.
Okay, what's wrong with the movie? Y'all got to let me know. What's wrong with Solo?
I'll be honest. overall, yes, I liked the movie, but it's not a movie that I revisit often. No,
Yeah, nobody talks about it. So do both of y'all own it in 4K?
I do. I have the 3D Blu-ray from the UK import.
So let me ask y'all this. There's been a lot of talk online. I've seen YouTube videos about this when they talk about cinematography, and I know who the cinematographer I believe is Greg Fraser. He lends the film the first two Dune films, and he did the cinematography for the Batman. There's a lot of complaints about Solo being too dark on 4K when you watch it. Even in theaters, people were saying the film was too dark.
It was not a bright presentation from what I remember. No.
Yeah. I mean, how does it look on your display? Is it really that? Because I've played it back in Dolby Vision on one of my TVs, and I was like,
There's
hey,
a
they
big
were right. It's dark.
there's a big difference between the Dolby Vision presentation
In HDR10.
HDR10. That's definitely a night and day.
Well, see, there you go, and that's what we discussed with that. And what is the actual optimal presentation for Solo? Was it Dolby? I mean, I imagine it was Dolby Vision, but is the Blu-ray brighter than the 4K one? Like, have y'all looked at the 1080p version?
I've never looked at the standard Blu-ray for it. I've watched the Blu-ray 3D version of it.
Okay.
And of course, with the glasses, it dims the picture somewhat.
And then I also heard that the audio is like really low on that film. Like, you got to crank it up.
I thought the audio at home was fine, but
Yeah.
with a lot of Disney discs, yes, you normally, especially those older Disney titles, back when they were handling them, yes, you do have to crank them up. Ever since Sony took over, they sound like way better.
Right.
I don't remember Solo looking dark to me. I remember Last Jedi, even when I saw it in theater, I went to it's the I don't know if it's there anymore, but it was like the dine-in theater with the bowling alley. I think it was between like Cary and Durham.
Oh,
yeah, I saw it there opening, and to me, it seemed like it was dark.
You probably saw a 4K transfer of that film, and it was a digital one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It probably was really dark, and that film is actually really dark. That's like out of the three. Because I read something about this when it comes to the color for each film. The first one is more of a desert color, and the second one is more of a blue, cold, and then the third film is more green and black. And yes, you're right. Return of Jedi is the darkest from what I remember. Return of Jedi is the darkest of the three. I mean, even the fight scene in Empire when Darth Vader and Luke are fighting, it starts off really dark. And you see the orange and the colors in it. A beautiful scene, beautifully shot. But each one has a different color scheme into it, based on what's taking place. You got desert, you got snow, and you got forest. So you got different textures and different locations and land of each film. So yeah, Return of Jedi probably was pretty dark. When I saw it, I noticed that too, it was pretty dark. Even the transfer on home video, it's actually pretty dark. Even in the forest scenes, it's bright, but not too super bright. Definitely true.
One question I did want to ask, because I don't know the story behind it, but I know with Return of the Jedi, it was originally supposed to be titled Revenge of the Jedi, which I think is better. It sounds better.
True.
What was the story behind why they changed that name?
From what I remember, I think it's just the philosophy behind the Jedi. Like a Jedi, I guess, wouldn't seek revenge or something like that. I think that was the reasoning behind changing. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because they're more about like team collaboration, unity, things like that. Instead of they really don't want to resort to those means,
because revenge is associated with
kind of villainized.
Yeah. Now a tidbit on that: if you go back in time, because you're not gonna find one now, and if you do, it's god awful expensive. You can find a poster that says Revenge of the Sith Yeah, you could probably pay off your mortgage with that poster, or just any kind of merchandise that had it, because they hurry up and pulled it
They
off the
did.
shelf
Yeah.
immediately once that name changed, and they tried, and once again they incorporated the Revenge name into the other Star Wars film, Revenge of the Sith. So supposedly, yeah, Lucas changed it into that. But initially, yes, it wasn't like you said. It was called Revenge of the Jedi, and like you said, they had to kind of pull back from that because that's not the code or philosophy of or the structure of a Jedi to seek revenge. But my question to you guys, how do y'all feel about the TV shows? Have y'all watched The Mandalorian, Andor, or what's the one that nobody likes? I mean, there's a lot of them, but what's
The
the one they really don't like with the? Uh,
I'll put it this way, man. When it comes to Star Wars fans, I think people are quick to just, oh, Star Wars fans are toxic. I don't believe like a whole fan base is toxic. There are just loud, vocal people who are toxic, but not the whole fandom. And when it comes to like these newer shows, yes, they're divisive. I think the last one that really just people were like no was the Acolyte. That
oh man, they
yeah,
stomped all over that show.
I think it came out in 23 or 24.
Yeah,
I'll
they
be
didn't
honest,
like that.
I at the time when I was watching it and I didn't finish it, I wasn't feeling it. And so I just didn't finish it. I will probably at some point maybe go back and finish it. So I can't really give an honest opinion about it, but from the first two episodes that I watched, no, I was not feeling it. No.
Obi-Wan was dope. Like I don't know if y'all ever watch Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
was
was
good.
good.
It was a little disappointing. It got better towards
Yeah.
The end, yeah. Obi-Wan, I like that story. Osaka, I actually like that one.
I have not
I
seen it.
did that one was good. And when it came to the animation shows, I didn't finish the Bad Batch, but it started off pretty good.
Yeah.
Now when it came to what's the Star Wars show that came out with Cartoon Network that was popular?
Oh, you're talking about
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Yep.
Clone Wars
Man,
was legit.
great show.
Yeah.
Great show. That was just I don't know what they were thinking about when they even put that out. I wonder if they were like, well, let's just throw it on the wall, see where it sticks. But they had some good people on that show doing their thing, and no disappointments on that. That's a very well done show.
Wasn't there Book of Boba Fett?
Yes,
Yep, that
I
I
was.
know I didn't
started
watch
that.
that.
I didn't finish it. It didn't start off bad. I don't really hear too many things about it, negative or positive.
Well, it's like
Um,
Mandalorian. Everybody was raving about Mandalorian until the third season. Then it seemed like
Yep.
people were not feeling that
Yep.
third season. No.
Just about
yeah,
to say that. I loved it when it first came out. Second season, it was all right. First
it
was
was
way
okay.
better.
Yeah,
Second season was all right. Third season is just like,
yeah.
Now you
I
got this
think
movie coming out, and it is not tracking
it's
well.
not tracking to open up big
no.
at all. Nah, and it looks good. Like I'm gonna go see it, but it ain't tracking to do any like major killer numbers right now.
Like every time the preview comes on, when I'm at the theater, and I look around at audience reaction, even in the dark, because you can still gauge somewhat how people are reacting. I don't hear people gasping or getting excited for it. Nah,
The,
it's like no.
the only time they laugh is when at the end where the little character says "nice shot, baby." Everybody bust out laughing. The first time I saw the trailer in theaters, at the end, when I think it's there like a sewer or something, and they shoot this monster in the face, and the
Yeah,
little character says "nice shot, baby." Everybody in the theaters bust out laughing. But I want to see it. I'm gonna go see. It. I'm gonna give it a chance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same. I'm reserving any judgment. It's just something I'm not hyped for at the moment.
Yeah.
It could be really good. I guess I'll see May 22nd when it comes out. Um, but as of right now, no, I'm not hyped for it.
Do you think part of it is because it was a streaming show first before a movie? If it was the opposite way around, people be more excited.
I think that could definitely play into it. Yeah, think about it. So this is going to be the first Star Wars big screen film since The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, yeah.
And that movie was not received well.
No.
Critically, the fans didn't receive it well. And I think that reaction caused Lucasfilm to pull back, at least from theatrical releases. Ryan Johnson, I think he had a trilogy supposedly that he was supposed to be working on.
All for Rey. It was supposed to be the Rey character.
Let's be honest. Okay, I'm not going to dog on Rey, but
no, that question was coming. I'm asking.
That was a character where at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, and she says, call me Rey Skywalker. I'm like, oh, so we're using our pretend names now. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah, because last time I checked, you're a Palpatine. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. If you ever want to talk about fumbling a narrative, yeah, that sequel trilogy did not do anybody any favors.
No justice.
You never hear Oscar Isaac really talk about it. John Boyega, he dogs all over it. I don't even think Daisy really talk about it. It's just we know these movies came out, they exist. Every once in a while, I may go back and revisit, but they, objectively speaking, they're not really good movies. No.
So I'm gonna be honest when I say this. I didn't go see that like opening weekend. I went maybe like a couple weeks in, and as you guys can tell, I'm not the biggest into Star Wars to know all the lore, all the characters, where they come from, who's related to who, all that good stuff. I had no clue. So of course I was lost on who she is when they introduced her and everything and the whole story. But I heard everybody trashing the movie, and it was mostly because of that, because of the characters. But I thought overall it was a decent movie. I didn't think it was as bad as people were saying. I think they just hated the direction.
Far from it, but for a long time, Star Wars fans, after the hype wore off, and you just really see the faults, the warts, they're glaring. They're so obvious. They're just not good movies. They're not.
I also think that one is the worst one critic wise.
Which one?
Return Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. It is the worst reviewed one out of the whole series, I believe. Out of all of them. Even hell, I think even worse. It might even be worse than Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace, I think, has got better reviews than that film.
Oh, I've said something to the effect that the Star Wars sequel trilogy makes the prequels look like Academy Award winners. I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely appreciate the prequels a hell of a whole lot more than the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Not everybody can make a Rogue One, because that was magic. That was lighting in a bottle. Yes. And if they had kind of kept that momentum and with the storytelling, those other films we mentioned before just now would have been classics.
People dog on The Last Jedi. I actually like The Last Jedi.
I did too.
Because it actually took a huge risk. And Ryan Johnson pretty much let the audience know that however you think this film is going to go, it's not.
It's not, yeah.
So I absolutely appreciate what he did, even though it was not well received by the fans either. And even though a lot of the characters were poorly written in that one too, there were still things that I very much liked about it.
Okay, so my next question, because like I said, I was going to ask about Rey. It seemed like y'all ain't really want to talk about Rey.
We don't talk about Bruno, okay? We don't talk about
Rey.
My next question, along with asking you guys how you felt about her character and what they did, was what do you guys feel about Luke being a hermit?
So that's another thing too that I really did not like about this trilogy. In order to elevate these newer characters one by one in each film, you killed off the main three legacy characters.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, disrespect. And so I understand in life people can absolutely have experiences that will cause them to go a complete 180, but to literally the first scene of Luke in The Last Jedi is Rey handing him his lightsaber.
And what does he do?
He just tosses it.
Tosses it.
And we all know how important that specific lightsaber is in the totality of the story. And just to toss it over your shoulder like that, like, wow.
Yeah, and you know what? And if that was scripted or if that was personal, we'll never know, because it's like you really, I'm filming this movie. You want me to take that particular lightsaber and throw it? That's like saying this. However many years Star Wars had been out at that time, that's what I think about this whole
Right.
this whole film series. I'm just gonna throw the lightsaber.
You know, and even Mark Hamill himself said he didn't agree with those choices, but and him being a total professional, he even said, "Look, it's my job as an actor to bring the vision of the director to life." So even though he didn't personally agree with that, he still went along with it, and for that I can appreciate that. But overall, no, to see, look, I know I can be cynical, but to see, I mean, Luke, you watch that character develop over 3 movies, reduce to that, and even though they explained it in the movie, I still didn't like seeing that. Absolutely not.
What was the crowd? Okay, what was the crowd reaction? I'm gonna tell you 2 incidents. When I watched Force Awakens, and it was packed theater in IMAX 3D. The last scene when they showed Luke, take his hood off, people in the theaters
Audience
erupted.
nuts.
Yeah.
They went nuts.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I go watch Last Jedi, and yes, he's on the screen again. And when he threw the lightsaber,
Audible gasp.
yeah, people, I heard people gasp and I heard people laugh. And actually, any scene he was in for a while, they were laughing at him.
Yep.
They weren't taking him serious.
Mm-mm.
Even when he at the big battle at the end, when he went like this, oh, people lost it. They just erupted in laughter. So it's like, oh no, we laughter ain't always good, y'all.
It's not always a great thing.
No, it's not always a great thing. Never mind how much money that film made. Never mind how much it cost to make. You just put a taste in people's mouths that was very bad when you were doing this little, things in the film that are gestures that are just pissing off your fans.
Real talk. So Disney already ticked me off right off the bat when they bought Lucasfilm, because one of the first things they did was they literally just tossed many years of Star Wars continuation stories right out of the window. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but Timothy Zahn from 1991 to 1993 wrote probably one of the best post Return of the Jedi stories with this Thrawn trilogy, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, The Last Command. These novels really captured the spirit of that original trilogy. And then you had a lot of stories, that came after that as well. I think at the time the publisher was Ballantine Books. They wrote
Books.
A lot of great stories.
Yep.
And of course, one of the biggest ones, of course, it was a tie-in for the video game for the Nintendo 64, Shadows of the Empire, which took place between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I mean, you thought this was a new movie coming out. This was just a release for a video game and a book. Very well received. But Disney, they buy Lucasfilm, and they pretty much just throw all that out the window and categorized it as Star Wars Legends. And then they created their own canon that, to me, it just doesn't capture that magic. It doesn't.
It don't. Did any of y'all ever purchase or play the video games? How about the very first one on PlayStation 1, the trilogy game, and you had to fly the Millennium Falcon for I think that was in the Empire Strikes Back game. Did any of y'all ever play any of the games on Super Nintendo or
I have
on PlayStation?
The Star Wars trilogy, the Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Return of the Jedi. I have those. Nintendo 64 had Rogue Squadron, which was very
Yep.
fun. Shadows of the Empire, and the thing with that game is you played a character, Dash Rendar. That was the character you played.
Yeah. Yep. If y'all ever get a chance, check out there's a cinematic which I love. If you go to YouTube and watch any of the cinematic Star Wars videos from the games, oh man, they're awesome.
Hey, you had a lot of PC games back then. I had a couple of them. There were flight, strategy games. X-Wing,
Yep.
TIE Fighter,
Yeah.
Rebel Assaults 1 and 2.
Yep.
There were so many like post Return of the Jedi Star Wars adventures in various forms, whether it was, continuation novels. For a time, Dark Horse Comics, they came out with probably one of the most well-known stories, Dark Empire, where Palpatine comes back via, cloning. Dark Empire 2. And like I said, you had just like a bunch of novels.
And audio tapes too.
Yeah, audio tapes, pretty much just audio dramatizations. You had an NPR release of the Star Wars trilogy in like radio serial format. There was a lot of, even though we weren't getting movies, there was a lot of Star Wars content coming out. They just weren't movies and TV shows. And I was very happy with that. But like I said, once Disney got their hands on it and just started, literally just milking the franchise dry, it became very hard for me to get excited for anything Star Wars. It's just like how I am with Marvel now. It's too much. And so when you drop something that's actually good, I'm not excited to necessarily
run out there to go watch it.
Go watch it because you wore me out with just way too much subpar content.
Yeah.
Now, I know just a minute ago you was talking about how a lot of people in theater was laughing at Luke. It seems like Disney just has this thing to where they'll do that to a character ever since then.
Yeah.
They don't really listen to their audience for some reason. I don't know what it is, but not to bring into another franchise into this, but we've seen the same thing just happen with Marvel. They did the same thing with Thor and Hulk. A lot of people did not like how they were treated in their movies with, Hulk starting to be afraid of Thanos, Thor turning fat, turning into a joke. Seems like it's just, I don't know what it is about them to where they feel like they need to do things like this. I don't know if it's just they really want to bring this comedy element into their movies for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it's a continuation that with Disney to do things like this.
Yeah, the day they make a serious film, let me know. I'll wake up.
Again, it sounds like we're just complaining and just dogging it out. We're not. I think the complaints are valid. We're not dogging it. God forbid, because the word I hate to use. We'll just say it starts with the letter W. Can't stand it. When people just want to automatically dismiss something. Things can be truly crappy on their own merits. And that's the case with Star Wars. I'm not saying it's all been bad, but it's just definitely not on the level of what we grew up on. And, like Derek brought up a great point, the best Star Wars films were the ones that Lucas did not direct. And there's no disrespect to him because he's the man behind the vision. Indiana Jones would have been a lot different had George Lucas directed it. More than likely, yes, But guess what happened? We got 3 great Indiana Jones films. 2008, we get that Kingdom of Crystal Skull, and it's George Lucas, David Harrison Ford. Again, that same magic wasn't there. And then in 2023, we get Dial of Destiny. It's Disney acquired,
really messed up,
and I don't mind seeing my heroes that I grew up with get older because we all get older in life. But at the same time, it's like, man, you guys are really putting our heroes through the ringer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did y'all ever hear? I was telling Justin about this some time ago. Derek, did you know how much? Do you know how much these films cost? Matter of fact, I think Force Awakens is either still or is the most expensive film
Crazy.
ever made. Disney hid the budgets. They hid the budgets to make it. I don't want to say they hid them to make the films look like they were box office successes, but as of recent, it came out on and some articles on Forbes that Disney hid the budgets. Because, for example, they said at one time Rise of Skywalker cost like 200 million.
Yes. Yep.
That movie cost, I think, when I looked it up, it was after many years. They said no, the budget for that film was over like $400 million. It's like the second most expensive movie of all time. And then and there's other studios that did that too. Universal did that for the Jurassic Park. Go look up the budgets for. I know this is not related. Go look at the budgets for the last 3 or 4 Jurassic Park films. Insane, and that don't that's quantity over quality. Are you paying all this to get quality? No. People going to the theater and watching it? Yes. Are they paying money and getting disappointed? Yes.
And the visual effects do not look not even a quarter good as what got back back in the day. And they were using scaled models, matte paintings, or just creating things, and they use blue screen too, of course. But with all the visual effects and CG today, it just
if you look at the CG for the prequels, Revenge of the Sith has the best looking CG because it developed better over time. But like Attack of the Clones, man, that's got CG all over that film.
That film was shot entirely digital.
It's shot digitally, but it's like did the actors actually move? Because everything is CG in that film. And it just I don't know. I'm not a big fan of CG anyway, but I like practical. I like makeup. I like those kind of effects. That to me is really hard. I mean, nothing against visual effects artists. They do work hard. I get it.
Absolutely, yes.
But makeup and effects will always be 100%. Models, matte paintings. That is really hard work. Really hard work. And to get that on a film, like for example, I think they said the beginning scene of Rogue One with the planet, apparently, or supposedly I'm correct, that was a matte painting. In the first few minutes of the movie, but because they wanted to keep the old school look, to kind of blend it into like what we saw with New Hope. Good job. But you'll always see me go back to Rogue One because I think Disney finally figured out something like, we might want to.
It's the best Disney Star Wars film.
Yeah.
It just is. We
might need to go back to the basics because we kind of messed up on some of those earlier films, and they kept it real with those. Now I'm gonna bring up something here. When it comes to technical standpoints, when it comes to the way these films were produced on film, on video, home video. I mean, they've been on every format. Would y'all jump back to the disc, or would y'all go to the streaming?
Come on now. You see me right here, man. Come on. I am definitely, about that analog life. Just really. Now, yes, I do have the UHD set, the Skywalker Saga, and I actually go through this set every once in a while, but I do not revisit this box set nowhere near as much as the laser discs or even the DVDs.
So did you guys know that? Okay, so that set he has there, that one. Okay, unlike this one.
Of course, this big bad boy right here. Jason knows about this.
That's okay. So when Laserdisc was popping, that's the last of the last. When it came to just the originality of how the quality down to the color and the sound mix, that is the originals of the Star Wars series. When it came to this, these audio mixes. Okay, so Lucasfilm was big on THX, and with these films in this set, the audio mixes for these are in DTS 6.1. When you purchase the new series, 4K, excuse me. The Blu-rays that come in that set are now mixed in DTS 7.1. Has anyone actually listened to the differences between them to hear is there a difference?
There is a difference, yes. So that's the thing about Star Wars on home video. All of the releases are different in some way. So, like with the Laserdisc set in that box set, you have the digital tracks, which is a home video mix.
Yep.
But the analog tracks are actually the closest to the original Dolby Stereo presentations.
Yep.
Same thing with the Faces jacket. The digital tracks, they're different. The analog, they're the closer to the original release. And then of course, this is the box set. So this is the 1997 special edition releases. This is actually the first time that the films have been released in Dolby Digital. Discrete audio. For the home video market. And of course, these releases right here, so much, was edited and altered.
So that's still fully sealed.
Oh no, so it does open.
Okay.
And that's the poster art for the films, and they re-released them back in 97.
Yes.
Yep. So like for that one, that's this series right here. And with these,
but some more changes, because that in that box set the audio was EX.
Yes. So they changed the covers. So here's the cover for Jedi, and then here's the cover for New Hope. Okay, and then here's the cover for the bonus material. And then right here is the cover for Empire. So they changed the poster art, and like you said, with those audio mixes are now an EX, which is a 6-channel that's extracted behind you when it was made back in the day, kind of like a precursor to 7.1, which is Matrix 6.1. You got creating hemisphere behind you. Those films are really good. The one thing I will say, when you purchase the Laserdisc films, you get what they call the theatrical far field mix.
Yeah.
Which means it's louder. When you purchase these, now I gotta do some research on these, but these may actually be near field mixes because they're not the extraction of the Laserdisc. So this is probably a near field mix, which is, but then again, this was before sound bars and before other audio inclinations. So this could be a full, actually really loud, dynamic, less dynamic range disc.
They sound really good.
Yes.
With the special editions, I complain about them. Again, not happy with a lot of the choices, but I also understand why, and actually have over time, appreciated some of those changes. Because if you were to watch back then, episodes 1 through 3 with the original unaltered Star Wars trilogy, it's riddled with continuity issues.
Mm-hmm.
So the special edition re-releases, starting in 1997, was a way to reintroduce audiences to the Star Wars trilogy while also getting them primed for the prequel trilogy. So when you watch, especially the DVD releases of the prequels and episodes 4, 5, and 6, there's a better flow there. And when you watch those films in the first Fox Blu-ray set with the 6.1 audio, they flow pretty well together. And then, of course, when the sequel trilogies came out, more changes were made. So it's like with each subsequent release, they just try to tie that universe even more closer together to give the viewer a more seamless experience. But I don't revisit the prequels or the sequels too often, so I tend to just normally watch the films as how we grew up watching them, before all the additions were made.
Right.
Back in the day, the Sci-Fi Channel, back when the Sci-Fi Channel was a brand new network, every November they would play the Star Wars trilogy over 2 days. One day they would play it in full frame, pan and scan format. The next day they would play
widescreen. Yep, they played it in widescreen or letterbox. Yeah, letterbox. It depended on your TV. But like Derek was saying earlier, TBS used to play them every year. every year. I don't think TNT did TNT touch them too. I know TBS did.
I played them too.
Okay, yeah, because they would have what they call a Star Wars weekend,
Yes.
and I think they would play they would play New Hope Friday, Empire Saturday, Return of the Jedi Sunday, and then they would do it. They would play them all at once. Later on in life, they would just play them all day, all three films. And like you said, Sci-Fi Channel was cool enough to do it at nighttime. They would play the letterbox version of the film, and you would see it in widescreen for the first time. It's funny when it comes to widescreen. This was one of the first few films I ever watched in widescreen growing up, because paint and scan is all we knew. That's all we saw.
Yes.
Right.
And when I was looking, I said, "Oh, the Death Star is much bigger now. Oh, the actual shit that comes across the screen in the beginning of the film, it's much wider now. You get to actually see the entire ship." So no, I have to hand it off to Star Wars for evolution in technology
Yes.
and changes in the home market, including audio and video. Lucas wanted the best quality for you that you can get of those films during that time.
Between THX, Industrial Light and Magic,
Yep.
Skywalker Sound, Rocket Systems.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Star Wars films, their reach goes far beyond just those movies itself, because effectively it changed the way how we watch movies, how we listen to movies.
Do any of y'all touch the Star Wars films for demos when you want to play something in your house or on your setup? Do you ever go to one?
Hey, I do. Oh yeah.
So when we had episode 1 in my theater at the time, I told Derek about this. No, Justin about this, Derek. Episode 1 blew the amps at our theater. The pod race, when they took it out of when they moved, then the film was dying down, and they moved it to the singles like DTS house. Pod race killed it. Once it was moved, it was just we had lost all the other prints, and we had one print left, and they had it in the small theater. Justin, if you remember, I think it was theater. When you went down the hall to the right, the first one to the right, that was theater 12, right?
Number 12, which always sounded like garbage anyway.
Derek blew the amps, blew them. The pod race shut it down. The very first time they were cranking up, cut them, and customers came out the theater and they were like, "Hey, ain't no sound." Okay, and then with that, mind you, when you blow an amp, it ain't coming back on.
Right.
So we had to contact I can't remember who made the amps for those back then, but that theater ended up getting all new ones just because of that film. But if Justin could tell you, if you read any old articles about the reviews for the audio, whether in the theater or even the Japanese laserdisc of
I have it.
episode 1, it puts out so much bass. The home theater, like the later versions, like on this one or the Atmos one,
those Blu-rays are not the original theatrical. No.
They're not the original theatrical mixes. The Laserdisc is the original theatrical audio mix, because it's what they call, like I said, a far field mix. So it's not, there's no dynamic range compression, and it's the full theatrical audio. So yeah, that film puts out so much bass when it comes to surround sound. With the ships, the pod race, and that, believe it or not, y'all gonna laugh at this. Do you know that's the last film audio wise that actually puts bass in the lightsabers?
The lightsabers hit hard.
Yeah, when they're moving around and they're touching,
that's
bass. Yeah, there's no other Star Wars film that has done that. Episode 2, I was listening, I was like, there ain't no bass in the lightsabers.
Not sound the same.
There's no bass. No.
I remember one time I was playing episode 1. So the DVD for episode 1 hits quite hard too.
Yes.
This is when I got my first receiver. My dad, he worked at the prison at the time, so he worked nights. He worked he would sleep during the day. Let me tell you something. I had that thing crank so loud, woke my dad up. He came in the room hot.
He probably thought he was under attack.
Yeah. My dad,
lightsabers coming out the speakers.
Woo, my dad was hot. Woke him up out of sleep.
The dopest surround sound effect in that film, and I know people they may or may not agree with me. Of course, the speed racer scene and the forest is dope. No, no, no.
Yep.
Attack of the Clones. There's this. It's called seismic charges, and they call it an audio black hole. Y'all gotta listen to this on your system. It's when Obi-Wan is chasing Jango Fett, and Jango Fett says seismic charges. So he lets this charge out of the back of the ship. There's it's called. I did some research and they called it the audio black hole. So the audio goes away, but you can hear like a hemisphere of like this atmosphere of sound, and then it just goes. It erupts. It goes bang like that, and it comes right over your head. The second one hits even harder because it gets louder as it gets closer to your ears. But that was how Surround EX worked, and that film is a perfect demo for audio. Even the scene in the beginning when they're chasing through the city, that's a demo for visual and audio. But George Lucas said he challenges anyone. If anyone could watch episode 1 and find out what scenes he filmed in high def and scenes he filmed in 35 millimeter and see if you can tell the difference between the two, or you can point them out, he says he'll pay you for it. I don't think anyone's ever has been able to find which scenes look like high def and which scenes look like
Well, the thing is,
film.
the Laserdisc is, I think, to my knowledge, the only really because changes were made for episode 1 for its home video release, but the Laserdisc is pretty much the same as the original theatrical version. Everything from the transitions, the audios, everything. Because I think even the first DVD release in the States has some tweaks as well.
Yeah, but there, Justin can tell you when the Laserdisc came out, it was the most sought after Laserdisc. It's one of the last ones ever made in history, and it's very at the time the price was very high for many years on eBay, but it's since then the price has kind of gone down.
Yeah, like 30 for it.
Yeah. I wish I still had a Laserdisc player to play that. I would love to hear that right now. I would change my whole setup for that movie. I'm telling you, just to hear the audio one time, because that was Laserdisc audio was special. Even if you just heard the PCM stereo mix, it was just like, wow, this is putting a lot of bass, and a lot of your bass heads. They always talk about audio from Laserdisc is just punishing on a system compared to a DVD if you bought a DVD back in the 90s, it probably won't compress. It was probably the original audio mix up until when you got about probably 2010 and up. Those films all changed in audio because they were more catered to compression, and they also weren't using theatrical mixes. They were using near field mixes.
Well, New Line Cinema, golly, you play a New Line Cinema DVD
from 1999.
Oh my goodness! So we're talking like the Corruptor, the First Blade DVD.
Yep.
One that really got me, Blade 2.
Punishes your speakers. Yeah, Derek, Justin will tell you, when we had that at my theater, I got so many complaints about the audio being too loud in there, and we had it in we had a DTS and we had a Dolby Digital print. The DTS was just wiping all over the Dolby mix, and that film was mixed in Dolby EX. It says it even on the credits. So that was a 6'1" film, and thanks to Star Wars bringing EX out to the theaters, that film is an EX film.
In '99, you had two pretty big EX films. You had Star Wars, and then of all the other films, Austin Powers 2 was
and The World's Not Enough.
And the World is a Bond movie, yeah.
Bond movie, yeah. Yeah, 99 put out a few, even some quiet EX films people didn't know about. Apparently Pitch Black was an EX film with Vin Diesel when he first started. I think it's in the credits. Yeah. Oh man, if you can purchase this one movie, you can get it on DVD. I don't know about I have it on Blu-ray too, but if you buy The Messenger, the Joan of Arc story on DVD, if you can extract that, you'll hear some amazing back audio, because that was an EX film too.
Yeah.
But these are all films that all started that format because of what? Star Wars Episode 1. So that was going to be the norm for a while, but not every film was using those audio mixes because it might have been very expensive. And not only mentioned, not every theater supported EX.
Right.
You know,
So,
the closest theater I knew that played films back in EX, because I drove all the way to Raleigh to go watch it in Dolby Digital EX, was Hot Fuzz back in 2000.
yeah, that had an EX on it.
Hot Fuzz was an EX film, and I think who owned it at the time, Eastern Federal or Consolidated Theaters, but they had an EX auditorium.
Yeah.
Got a comment here. I definitely agree with this. He says, I want a dark Star Wars like how DC was compared to Marvel. Love Rogue One and Andor series because they were both dark.
Yes.
I could agree with that. I'd love to see something.
Andor is definitely, in terms of all the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, Andor is head and shoulders, the best.
So what if, so Disney would never do this. If they just made like I would love to see a rated R Darth Maul film, him just slaughtering people with his double-edged lightsaber. Imagine that. So let's spend $300 million on that. I guarantee you, people go see it.
You know what? Star Wars is about the merchandising because that's the shows and the movies got to sell the toys and all that. But I think back to the 90s and the 80s. We had Rambo action figures, RoboCop, Demolition Man. So the toys were marketed toward the kids, but guess who couldn't go see the movie unless they were accompanied by an adult? The kids. So, you know what? Maybe you should go back that route.
Yeah, we got to, man. I know money is everything, but and timing too as well. But like you said, if it ain't broke, don't. What's the saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. And
don't fix it. Leave it alone. Let it age over time. So as we're sitting here talking right now, 20 years from now, imagine what, I don't know, where these films that we're talking about right now, how they're going to age. Are we still going to be celebrating Star Wars like that? With the original trilogy, the prequels and the sequels, and everything else they're going to be bringing out many years from now. Like, are we really going to be talking about these films?
I think so.
In time, and I think they're going to age well. Even the newer films, they may age well. I just want more attention brought to the Rogue Ones and stuff like that, because they just it's a perfect film.
What's that? Starfighter, Ryan Gosling.
Yes, that's coming out. Which they said that would be that would have been the first Star Wars film and since Rise of Skywalker up until Mandalorian. And I know you guys had mentioned something earlier too, Derek. You said something about how do we feel about Mandalorian becoming a film? Believe it or not, from what I was reading some time ago, Disney was going to already make that a film. Right. They wanted the show, but I think it was already contracted supposedly to be a film. But people was when it was at the hype of its time. Imagine if they had released a film during that time. I don't know if it would have done well, or maybe it would have done well. But supposedly they were always going to make it a film. But we didn't know when. So I guess Disney looked at it now and said, well, now might be the time to go ahead and do it. But I think, like you said, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with season 3. So are the really hardcore, diehard fans of The Mandalorian going to come watch it? We shall see in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Favreau, he's directing it.
And he's great. He's a great director.
You have the talent right behind the camera. I just hope they can deliver, a solid film. And I think really the future of Star Wars films will depend on how this film is received. Not just financially, but critically as well. Yeah, like you said, we'll see in a couple of weeks. But as of right now, last I was checking, it's really not tracking for a big opening. Yeah. I hardly hear anybody talking about this movie.
Yeah,
I think Captain Phasma was supposed to get a movie or TV series also.
We all saw what happened to Captain Phasma.
Yeah, that was
yeah, we all saw what happened there.
Yeah, they Disney. I want to. They overpromised and underdelivered because they were going to put out a lot, and they still are putting out a lot, and they're going to put out a lot, and they're going to focus on some other characters. But it's only time will tell if it's really going to at the end is going to justify the means. if people are really going to be there to see it. They may just have to stick to streaming.
I hope not, man. I really hope not. I think that there are still plenty of stories to tell in a galaxy far, far away.
If done right.
If done right, yes.
Yeah, I can see they're definitely not going to let up for two reasons, I believe, and both of them deal with streaming. And there's two names, Netflix and Paramount.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Your competition will push you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, like you said, you look at the other companies like Netflix and Paramount, especially Netflix. Netflix has been on a roll. They have not stopped when it comes to their content, their Netflix produced content. Oh man,
Yeah.
Leaps and bounds over everybody, and they're not doing a bad job either. Not doing a bad job.
Put this way, man. Look, man, I've been down with Big Red. That's what I call Netflix, Big Red. Going back to 2004, back when I was getting movies through the mail. For every great show or movie Netflix produces, you get 10 or 15. What were y'all thinking? You know, that's they're the definition of I have way too much money and
I don't care.
Yeah,
right.
Don't
I
care
don't care.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah,
and I don't care. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine if Blumhouse made a streaming channel. You know, because it's coming. It's coming. They're gonna make one because they make. What's the saying, Justin? Make it fast, make it cheap.
Look, okay, I'm down with the Canon Pictures model of filmmaking from back in the day because I understand, you know, for every Delta Force and American Ninja, we would get something else that was like, what were you guys even thinking? But you're right, you know. I don't know, man. I hate the word content because it just sounds lazy. It sounds like nothing was put into it. And not to come off like a film snob, even though I know I can at times, man. I just think that in this age of constant, just in your face consumerism, instant gratification, when it comes to what we watch, man, we got to get back to a time to where we actually appreciate the things that we watch. Again, Marvel films, once upon a time, those were event releases.
Yes.
People showed up, showed out, sat through the credits.
They set a trend.
That was a big deal. And Star Wars was like that too. Before home video, I think it took, 3 years for Return of the Jedi to come out on home video?
Yeah, it won immediate. I mean, it went to HBO before it even came on video.
You had
to watch HBO.
You had re-releases, theatrical releases, and those films, they were still pulling an audience. They were appreciated. And just nowadays, man, I'll be honest, I don't think people really appreciate the shows that are being put out now. Because we've gotten used to binging.
I want it now. I want it now. I don't want to wait.
I want all of it now. You know,
yeah.
That's been my favorite thing about what Disney has done with Daredevil, Born Again. They drop an episode each week. You know, it gives me something to look forward to, and that's why I definitely appreciate it. You know, especially this season.
Yeah, I'm back and forth with that model. Sometimes I don't mind it. Like with The Boys, I watch that. I don't mind it being every week. But then there's some series where I'm like, oh, I just wish they bring the whole thing out because I haven't watched this season of From yet. I said I'm gonna wait till I'm probably the end and then I'll watch them all.
Right. It can't be a one-size approach to every show. I think it just needs to be on a case-by-case basis.
I'm gonna tell you one show that was on Pins and Needles was freaking True Detective. Great show, great series. But you anticipated the next episode that week. But Derry really did a good job.
I gotta get on that show.
On oh my gosh, man. Perfect.
If you're a fan of that world,
tell them Derek, perfect. Perfect. They did it perfect. And they're making another season. And I think I don't want to spoil it, but it's supposed to be going further back.
Yeah.
With the new season.
I was
But
reading Michael Singletary's comment there, talking about, hey, a lot of people have great TVs and sound systems in a bathroom down the hall and a pause button. He's not lying. He's not lying.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, because I always hear everybody usually points out the price of the theater, but
yeah,
every theater has a day. Tuesday for Regal is cheaper.
Yeah,
I usually go on Tuesday because I take my daughter or one of my kids to see something. So Tuesday's usually the day I usually go unless it's a movie I really want to see. It's not even really packed on Tuesday. So there's your opportunity if you're saying it's the price. So it's not the price because even new releases after the weekend don't be sold out or even close to sold out, at least in my area.
It's not just the price too. And you're right. It varies from market to market. I'm going to keep it real. Have you noticed that movie going etiquette is just terrible nowadays?
Oh, absolutely.
They put too much on you.
I mean, okay, number one, the preview. So this is just talking about the theater itself, the company. You go to AMC theaters and you get there, your movie, the time that you show up, that's not what time the movie starts. Your movie
right.
30, 35 minutes later after you done sat through all these commercials, all these previews. Nicole Kidman, golly,
yeah.
AMC, they make movies better. Like, dang, Nicole, we got it. We good. We
good. Does price outweigh experience? Experience outweighs price? Like, how do you determine that?
So I think it just depends on the market. Now, growing up in Fayetteville, at the time, we only had 2 first run, or at the time 3.
3, yeah.
First, back when your boy worked at General Cinema.
May they rest in peace.
Yeah, General Cinema. Look, I was
good experiences.
I was sandwiched in between Carmike 12 and Carmike Market Fair 15. But back then, especially for the size of the town that we grew up in, when a brand new movie opened up, guaranteed that opening weekend packed, crazy packed. And of course, with 35 millimeter prints, there were only so many prints that could go around. So when theaters switched over to digital projection, you could have 2 theaters across the street from each other
playing the
same movie on so many screens. And that's the case now with the multiplex. Out here, I live near an AMC that has 24 screens and an AMC that has 30 screens. That is 54 auditoriums, but 54 different movies are not playing because come opening weekend, one movie is probably playing on 4 or 5 different screens in different formats.
Yeah.
So it's not too often that when I go watch a movie, it's sold out.
I went to a 30plex before, and it's not my first one. I've been to other ones like in Virginia, but the biggest theater I ever went to was this one in Kansas. And on top of them having 30 screens,
the headquarters out there.
Yeah, on top of them having 30 screens, they had another theater within the theater that did the dining, and that was another 10. So this was 40 theaters, and this was back in 2015. They had every movie that was playing. There was only 5 or 6 screens. And it was so many people at the theater. It was so consumed. It was so many people just hanging around, standing around. There was no, it was just, you couldn't even get around. You couldn't even see the ground in front of you. It was like, this is the last theater in the world open. It was so many people there, and it had so many screens playing the same film. Like when they had Mad Max Fury Road there, they had it in 3D. They had it in like I think like a Dolby format, and then some other formats. But you could see it in multiple formats. Experience, overpriced. Do people even know what Dolby is? Because even in our theater here, we got the IMAX and the Dolby. You can see Michael right now in both formats. But do you want to see it in IMAX or do you want to see it in Dolby? And is that really going to determine your or just regular digital? And is that going to determine how you got your audio visual experience of watching Michael? Because you can see it. Some people just don't care. They just want to see the film.
Yes. That's my family. They don't care. We just
They
want
don't
to see
care.
a movie, When it comes to me, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I look at the differences in presentations. Yes.
Now, has there ever been a film that you guys watched that you wish you saw in IMAX versus Dolby or Dolby over like have you ever tiptoed on that? Or seen the same film in both formats?
Well, I used to do that with Marvel films. I would catch it in IMAX first because the IMAX screens
It's limited.
It's limited. Sometimes if you don't catch it in IMAX that first weekend, then you just missed out. Unless the film is that good, and it ends up getting IMAX. Like Project Hail Mary, it played in IMAX for about 2 weeks before Super Mario Galaxy took the screens.
Yeah,
they brought it back out again in IMAX for another week. Christopher Nolan, you have some time because when he gets the screens, they're on lock for like a whole month.
Derek, did you hear about what they're doing with Dune and Doomsday? Did you hear about the IMAX on that? Is all jacked up. I think what were they saying there? I think is it the Avengers film that has no Dune has the IMAX theaters, right?
All the IMAXs.
Dang.
And that's why
Marvel went with Infinity Vision.
They dropped that Infinity Vision.
Yep. Infinity Vision.
It's IMAX or Limax, whatever you want to call it. You want to put some lipstick on a pig. You're not fooling the consumer.
It's still a pig.
Pig, yes.
Yeah. Oh man, Disney just wants to be an IP conglomerate. They just take money from license, and they can't lose whether or not the new movie does well. True. Even with their own movies, they just ship to Sony to distribute because they already know if somebody, okay, let's say they got a staff of 100, somebody in that group, maybe 5 or 10 people, have finally grew a brain and realized we might want to kind of change our business model and focus on listening to the actual audience and the fans. We might need to change the way we do our movies right now because we're not popping like that. So no, that was a good point.
Not anymore. No. I will say though, Disney surprised me with Devil Wears Prada 2. I went Thursday night, 8:45 show. It was sold out. And then I read the grosses on Sunday. Huge opening.
Yeah. I was surprised when Jason told me earlier.
Yeah. So look, I've been looking at the box office grosses per weekend for the last since the beginning of the year. Every weekend, it's been over 100 million. Like totals. Even when Michael came out, insane numbers. When Project Hail Mary came out, insane numbers. But in the last few weeks, for the last few months, every weekend the grosses have been in over 100 million here in the States combined.
The drops, the week to week drops between certain films have not
been
been
drastic.
So Michael opened up to like 97 million, and I think his second week draw was like 50 something million. Those are pretty impressive numbers. But if you look at long running IP, Marvel, it's like the opening week used to be super front loaded. Not anymore, and the drops have been steep.
You gotta have legs. You gotta have legs.
Yes, these latest don't have legs. The drop between Fantastic Four opening week, Thunderbolts or New Avengers, whatever you want to call it, the drops were steep. Captain America was the same thing. I think the only one that actually had some legs was Deadpool and Wolverine.
And did you? That's another one, Derek. And Justin, did you know that film's budget was misquoted again?
Crazy pay.
That's also if it's either number 2 or number 3. Hell, it might be. It's in the top 5 most expensive films ever made. They had listed for a year that Deadpool Wolverine cost $200 million. No, that film cost close to $500 million to make, but Disney just hit the budget. They fucking hit the budget.
$537 million budget.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's insane, and it's all on the screen, or is it on the person's back pocket? Because I think somebody got that money.
I'm sure whatever deal is, and everybody, because Ryan walked away paid. You walked away paid for coming back.
So like Devil Wears Prada 2 right now costs $100 million because of salaries. And these actors, I know they get paid well, but damn, like I was reading recently that Tom Cruise, He's about to make. Did you hear about this, y'all?
Yep.
He's gonna make more than an NBA star in one sitting.
Yep.
Yep.
Who is Tom Cruise for what?
Yeah. Top Gun
Top
3.
Gun 3.
I'm about to say, I was like, what? He ain't gonna make that for that movie coming out called Digger with that whatever.
Watch it be a hit, and I'm gonna go see it.
I'm sure it will be. But
Oscar nomination too, and he might win.
Crazy, man. In fact, I was reading an article, and I don't know how true this is because we read stuff on the internet all day, and who knows how much of it is true. But apparently, he blames Chris McQuarrie for the failures of Mission Impossible's 7 and 8. And I'm thinking, whoa, Tom, you can't put that all on him, man. The budgets for those movies were out of control, crazy.
Yeah, because it's called COVID.
Well, not just that. Like, after watching Mission Impossible Fallout, probably
amazing film.
Right there, you could have ended the franchise right there, but they kept pushing and going bigger. I liked Dead Reckoning Part 1, or just Dead Reckoning they call it now, and I liked the Final Reckoning, but that is an exercise in excess where they just kept pushing and going bigger and bigger, and the payoff wasn't there.
No, it won't. It started strong when it came out that weekend, and then it just didn't have no legs. It was doing okay, but it didn't. It needed to make that movie needed to make $1 billion. That last one.
When your production budget is $400 million,
yeah,
then however other millions you spend on marketing the film, and I already knew just based on the opening week, and I'm like, and I hate doing this, but yes, the movie was a flop. Not a huge box office bomb, but yes, the movie flopped. It will make its money back over time. It will.
Over time, yeah.
You know, how many people have those last 2 Mission Impossible movies sitting on their shelf? Okay, besides us. Besides us.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, Derek, let's see who can put their hand on the quickest. Yeah, we got them because we love those films. Because they're not bad movies. They're really good, and those films did really well critic wise. And shit, one of them was nominated for an Oscar.
Right. I mean, but at some point though, it's like you got to sort of know when to hang it up. It's sort of, we're talking about Star Wars. This franchise has been going for, 50 years now.
Yeah.
And, I hope Star Wars can get its magic back and get back to the glory days. Like I said, I guess we'll see.
It's not wishful thinking. It can happen if done right. They gotta get the right team behind it.
And it's crazy because you think about Marvel. I mean, my goodness, man, look. We have been doing this since 2008, opening weekend. Iron Man. Had no idea how big that film was going to be. Had no idea about this universe. And it's just like when you hit your peak and you keep going, it's just like, okay, guys, what are you doing now?
It's like going to the casino is gambling. And once you won that ultimate amount of money, do you want to lose it? Do you want to continue playing? Do you want to continue gambling? No. At some point in time, guys, you got to stop.
Look, it's like the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Oh, I love it.
I was 19 years old when that first movie came out in 2001. They were still in DVDs in that film.
Yeah.
We are now in 2026. We still don't have Fast and Furious 11.
Or 12, I think.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2 more films.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel has been riding this franchise on E for a hot between that and Riddick. And he's doing another Last Witch Hunter movie. Did that many people go for the Last Witch Hunter the first time around?
Not many.
I didn't think so, yeah.
But the video sales were strong.
They were.
And it grew a fan base.
Yeah.
But with the Fast and Furious films, believe it or not, if you go back and look at some of those films, they only sorry to say, it grew stronger once they added The Rock.
That is true. I know. Fast 5 is my favorite.
That's the best one. Yep.
It is
one.
Yeah.
But after Paul Walker, rest in peace.
Yeah.
After he passed, that was sort of like an off ramp for that entire franchise
To stop.
Yeah. But then, they kept pushing it, and you got submarines. You're taking Pontiac Fieros
into space.
I did not like Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, I like that.
I like Hobbs and Shaw.
I like Hobbs and Shaw. Oh man, Hobbs and Shaw is awesome.
What? Yes, I liked it.
Yeah, I like Hobbs and Shaw. Maybe you didn't like it because maybe they tried too hard.
I think maybe if I look at it as a non-Fast and Furious movie and just a popcorn action flick, I would like it more.
But yeah, you're good on that part.
You got The Rock over here, Stretch pulling helicopters down. It's too
dope.
much. It's too much.
What do I call it? Cheese.
It's cheese. It's cheese.
I love cheese.
Big time cheese. And look, you put Jason Statham in the movie, my whack ass is going to be there in the seat.
I'm going. Look, he's a working man. He's got shelter. He's about to have mutiny soon. What else? He's a beekeeper. Come on. I'm going.
Tell you what.
Look, they can make a movie called The Librarian starring Jason Statham. I will be there.
Derek, did you hear he's making one called Jason Statham Stole My Bike?
Yes.
I'm so there.
I'm there.
And it better
I know you just said you love cheese. I heard the new RZA movie. If you've seen that trailer, I heard it's full of cheese.
Cheese.
Really I want to see it, but I know if you don't see it the first week, it's probably
we got it here. We got it here in Fayetteville. It's playing right now.
But it only plays like one time a day.
So can I ask y'all another question? And we're gonna have to do a video. Maybe we can do a video about if y'all want. What do y'all think about the new Resident Evil trailer?
I still need to watch it. I haven't looked at it.
Don't look at it on your phone. You need to watch that on a screen.
On a screen.
Big screen.
Yeah, big screen.
Yes. Turn the lights down.
Turn the lights down.
Up.
And another thing you need to watch too. You need to watch the Evil Dead Burn trailer.
Yes, I've seen that one.
Yeah. So I read online that it's going to be the goriest and the nastiest one out of all the ones that have ever come out before it. They said they're pushing it really hard on this one. Hard R. And I know you guys didn't go see them. Well, wait a minute. Other than me, and I keep asking you, Justin, I apologize. Who watched The Mummy?
I didn't, because I had no interest in it.
So Warner Brothers, that's a classic case of we didn't care, just do it. And I read some research about the film. The film's actually kind of fascinated me because it was one of those films. It had no serious promotion. It didn't have any. I didn't even know it was coming out. I didn't see the trailer in theater at home. I saw it in the theater first, and I was like, The Mummy, and which y'all know they got to leave that alone because they did it with Tom Cruise, and we don't want to talk about that. But when they did this film, they really did it. And the film's actually made some money. It's made a lot of money. But Warner Brothers, from what I was reading online, the director initially just wanted to do a different film. And James Wan said, no, bro, we need you to do The Mummy. We want you to do this one. And then you can go work on this other movie, but we need you to do The Mummy. And apparently the film was so gross initially that people left. They actually walked out of the screenings, including James Wan. So apparently I saw it. The film's nasty. But I'm a big fan of that film. And I do recommend it. And I will buy it when it comes out. And the Dolby presentation, I watched it because I didn't see it in IMAX. Saw it in Dolby. Top notch. Man, I won't be buying it.
Something about that 2017 Tom Cruise Mummy film. Because I just remember all the promotion around it. They even had a promotional still, I think, of Johnny Depp.
Javier Bardem, Russell Crowe.
Because at the beginning of the movie, as soon as the Universal logo fades, it said a dark universe film. Again, everybody want to have a world building franchise. This is a case where they literally put the cart before the horse. And
they were like driving like the Mummy casket around LA or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. They were trying everything. And like he said, those actors he named, each one of them had their own film. Like I think Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Javier Bardem was going to be the Wolfman, which that would have been dope. Russell Crowe was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Tom Cruise had his Mummy film, and then there was another actor they had in there. Okay, so one period of time they were going to do The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think it's
Yep.
still going to happen, and it will be rated R. There's a possibility that might be coming. But Blumhouse, he kind of touched on those. Did you also know that they're doing another Exorcist film? It's filming
Yep.
right now, and
Yeah.
it'll be out next year. And Mike Flanagan's behind it. He's awesome. So hopefully they'll get that. They'll knock that out of the park
What
because
was
that's
the last
another.
The Exorcist. What was it called? Deliver Us from Evil.
You talking about the one that came out before it or the
Yeah.
new one? No. Okay, the new one. The first one's called Believer.
Yep.
The second one was going to be called Deceiver, and then the third film would have been called. Oh man, it was Believer, Deceiver, and some other title because it was all supposed to intertwine. We supposed to see these films back to back. I don't think neither one of y'all have watched The Exorcist yet, have you? Believer.
I had no interest in
I
Believer.
never watched.
No.
I had no interest in it.
Nope.
Okay.
Neither.
I've seen it. I own it. I got a steelbook. So once again, raise your hand if you own The Exorcist. You got a steelbook, me. But I recommend y'all to watch it. Just watch it one time. I just need you to see it one time.
But you know what though, like. Again, like when it comes to follow-up films and these franchises, you got to have a compelling story and reason to go back and revisit those characters, revisit that world. And I can only imagine how people, especially after The Exorcist 2, just how poorly received that film was. And then The Exorcist 3 comes out, and that was actually quite a good film.
Hidden gem.
Where
Hidden
the
gem
actually has a pretty loyal following.
I'm a very big fan of the third one. Very big fan. I've owned it on DVD, VHS. I have the Blu-ray and the 4K. 4K is amazing.
Yep.
I own the novel. I got the novel sitting right here. I'm gonna go grab it in a second. There's nothing wrong with it. And the third one has one of the best, if not the best, jump scares of all time for any horror film.
To this day,
I
still
the best jump scare.
Yeah, I still watch the movies with that movie. Yeah, the lights stay on.
Yeah, lights stay on.
Yeah.
Lights stay on.
I don't watch that in the dark. No.
Yeah, and you don't want to watch it by yourself.
No.
Hey, Derek, ask your boy down here what happened when he watched The Exorcism Emily Rose by himself in the empty theater in DTS Sound.
Mark calls me up, Justin. We got this print. Need you to build it and preview it. Yeah, no problem.
Because nobody wanted to watch it because they were scared.
Yeah. And then I'm the only one in the theater. And I watched it in auditorium number 4, which is creepy anyway, because just you open the doors, it should just creaks.
Yep.
And so,
and it's at the far end of the theater too, the very back of the theater.
In the back, and so I built it. It didn't take me long to build a movie. It took me maybe like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 5 reels.
And I fire up that projector. I go downstairs. And the entire time, I'm just unnerved. And I'm sitting in the middle of the auditorium by myself. But I keep looking back to make sure
you keep looking back.
Yeah, because I'm paranoid watching this thing.
Yeah. and the DTS sound was amazing.
The DTS
for that film.
That dude can direct. Yeah.
Yeah. That has some, and you know what? That's one of them films where it's PG-13 horror done right. And it's a good film. Great film. Definitely recommend it. Another hidden gem. Easily talk about that for horror.
If you're listening, hook us up with the 4K.
Yeah, I need a K. Well, I don't know. That's a Sony film. Maybe we'll get it in Atmos with some Dolby Vision.
Yeah, for a $50 steelbook. Okay, yeah.
I still remember going to see the Rage Carry 2 opening weekend.
Oh, wow.
I saw that at the movies, yeah.
I never saw that in theaters. I saw it at home. That movie's awesome. Do any of y'all own that? Do y'all own that on any physical format?
Nope, don't own it. I really did like it.
I think Vinegar Syndrome released a 4K.
Yep.
And I think it's real expensive.
Yeah.
Is it on print now?
I want to say yes. Yeah. Dang, Rage Carry 2. Now see that's another cool one that
I know
people
the
slept
laser
on.
crazy price. So.
Yes, Laserdisc. Forget about it. Forget about it. Definitely.
All right, fellas. Well, I think we're gonna end it there. We had a great conversation about Star Wars tonight, the good and the bad. Okay, looks like you're going to grab something
You going
before
to
we
grab?
get out of here. So I'll give you guys that time if you want to grab a few
So
things, show off before we
this
get
is the
out.
original book to The Exorcist 3 Legion. And I got this really cool cover of The Exorcist.
Oh, nice.
It glows in the dark. But
Yeah. That can't be in the room with me now.
Since we are closing out tonight, I wanted to play some music for y'all. And let's see if we can hear it. Well, I played it towards the end, but this is the Star Wars theme music on my hands here. I'm not a musical artist, but hopefully they won't copyright and sue the hell out of me for doing that tonight.
You done blew up the spot because of copyright.
Blew up the spot. Let's get the lawyers together, guys. I'm going down. Damn.
All right, Justin, you got anything else you want to show off before we get out of here? You showed everything.
Yeah, man. Look, it's been a good start to the week already. Glad we got together on this day specifically to talk about one of the best motion picture franchises. As much as we complained about Star Wars tonight, though, I still very much am a fan of Star Wars to this day. A lot of things I learned about life can be traced back to Star Wars in regards to basic themes such as courage and beliefs, things like that. So just because I may not be crazy about Disney-fied Star Wars, it doesn't mean that I'm throwing the whole baby out with the bathwater. This is a universe that I'm still very much invested in, even though I feel like I walk more to these projects instead of running to them like I used to. And maybe, like Jason said, I'm trying not to be so cynical nowadays because cynicism just really eats at you. I'm really hoping that they can get back to, the glory days of this franchise.
Wishful thinking. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I think it could. I think it could.
Yeah. Who's running to the theater this weekend to go watch Mortal Kombat?
Thursday night, 6:45 IMAX. I'm there.
I may try to if my oldest daughter wants to go see it, I'll go ahead and see it this weekend. If not, I'll wait till Tuesday.
Yeah, go on Tuesday and enjoy it, and get you some popcorn, some hot dog, and a Coke, and you guys enjoy
all that cheese, right?
I'm eating.
Wait, I'll say Street Fighter looks more cheese than Mortal Kombat does.
And who's not going to go see it? That movie looks great.
I'll put it this way. The early reviews for Mortal Kombat 2 have been so good. I have read so many so many quotes saying Street Fighter better bring their A game this fall.
Do anybody want to go see Master of the Universe?
No.
Yeah, I'm there.
That was a hard no, Derek.
What? Dang, for real. That was an emphatic no. Like, no.
No?
That looks terrible to me. I'm sorry.
But they spent $200 million to make it.
Yeah, it looks like $200.
I'm gonna leave you to that one on Derek. You took that one. You got it.
Looks like another John Carter waiting to happen.
Oh man. Well, that's funny you would mention that because
yeah, Jason was the person hyping it up.
I am a fan of John Carter. Okay?
I know.
Yeah. And I don't like visual effects that much, but damn, they really, they really put the
3D on that. That 3D on that presentation is really good though.
Yeah.
Yep. That's on the list of Jason hyping me up for disaster. Disaster. Island of Dr. Moreau.
You just never gonna let me go on that one, are you? God, Lee, you're gonna kill me on that one. You really kill me on what's my favorite, Cutthroat Island? That's the best movie ever. What are you talking about? You gotta see those. Well, okay. I challenge you guys. Yeah, watch John Carter. I challenge you guys to watch Lone Ranger. if you haven't seen it.
That's actually sitting on my shelf over here.
Yeah, I like that movie. It was fine.
With the slipcover on it.
I got one with the slip too, Derek.
What's his name as well? Gosh, I can't get it out. The newest Long Range.
Johnny Depp, yep.
Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's not that bad. It ain't that bad.
Derek says it all. He had to say it.
You didn't want to say it. Oh, come on, man.
The non-verbal right there said it all.
It's not that bad. I actually have a small heart for that film. Not a big one, but a small one. I have a bigger heart for John Carter, but I have a small one for Lone Ranger. I guess my taste in cheese is not cheesy enough. I don't know.
Man. Look, I mean, I got a stack of films to get through. Yeah, a lot of my pre-orders now they're coming in. And as everything want to come in at the same time. Every time I look at my credit card statement, I see that deduction. I'm like, dang, no. There's a lot coming out.
Yeah.
So,
Fight Club.
Fight Club. We got the Fight Club coming out.
I don't know. I got to see what that does.
Last week took it out with Inner Space, Soldier, and it's just more. I got that Jackie Chan set on order from Arrow. Because it has a lot of my favorite films in that set.
So wait, did both of y'all pre-order Fight Club?
I did.
I didn't.
I didn't. I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna get it, but I just didn't pre-order.
I can wait. I hate to say that. God damn it, I hate to say that. But I really am a big fan of the film, but I need to see what's going to happen with it. I know it's going to be good.
I am still on the hunt for that Zootopia 2 at a not so crazy price.
Wait a minute, you can't find a 4K at all? Is it just a steelbook?
No, it's because the 4K is a steelbook.
It's a steelbook. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I'll tell you one that I'm definitely gonna wait on. That I'm sure everybody else will buy because it's only a steelbook. But 28 days later,
let the price drop. Let the price drop.
Fool you. So I've already.
I don't see any way they can make that movie look good 4K.
I did pre-order that one, yes.
Yeah, that one they're trying, and then like you said, there was a lot of discussion even last year. Like, can we actually do this? And then a lot of them were saying maybe. It wasn't a hard yes, but it was a maybe. We don't know. It could be good. It could be fair. Hopefully, it's not bad. Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one to transfer that over.
I think they can do it though. I've watched the film recently, like the original Blu-ray. And yeah, it's a rough looking film, and that's just because of how it was shot, though. And I don't think they're trying to make this movie look like $1 million, though. But I think they will be able to translate it to 4K without compromising its original look, but still making it look good as well.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Want to wait on the reviews.
I'm taking the hit, so you don't have to. So
you hear that?
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. Babe Ruth it out in the park right now.
You're welcome. Yeah. Just like Al Capone and the Untouchables. Yeah, I'm taking it.
I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Hey, what my man in King of New York say? Hey, y'all welcome to join.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Hey. I'm done with y'all, man.
All right. Well, hey, just for those who are still with us, we are like a little past over 2 hours now. Thank you for joining us when we do this. I truly appreciate it. Jason, Derek, and I truly enjoy doing this, and I hope that over time more people will tune in. We don't always derail and go on tangents like this, though, but this is how you can tell that we're just having a good time doing what we are doing, which is just simply just talking about movies. So, like I said, we have some more things to ask. What do you think? What was the comment?
He said, where the chicken at, Jimmy? No. Hey, that one in the scene where he says, hey, yo, he said, you get my soda pop black?
Yeah.
Yeah. he said, man, I'll knock the black off of you, bro.
I'm gonna tell you, man, King of New York is one of those films that
it's on my list. It's on my list.
You know what? I think when we because one of the things again, as I was talking earlier, things that we have in store for our listeners and viewers, a letterbox page, movie recommendations. Because the thing is, we absolutely watch newer movies, but I feel like this platform is a great way to highlight and even resurrect some of these movies that just seem to have been forgotten. Um, King of New York is one of those movies that I remember watching on Cinemax late at night, volume turned down, um, that I've learned to appreciate over time as I've gotten older. Um, so again, just thank you for taking this journey with us.
Thank you. We really appreciate you guys.
All right, folks. To the next time, man. Thank y'all for hanging in there. 2 hours of with us, 3 men in the movie. We'll be back again soon. Peace.
All right,
Peace.
later.
May the fourth be with you.